Good morning and welcome in everyone. Before we get into this morning's update, I want to go over an overview of what I see transpiring so far on this Tuesday morning session as we get into the heart of the trading week and we see the optics after a Monday of trading. Right now, Bitcoin's up 1% or better than $840, up 848 to 85,431. XRP's pretty flat, up about 0.9%, sitting just below the $2.15. We've had a lot of speculation on what XRP can do here in the immediate short term. A breakout here would have been nice. Overnight, we got out to about $2.19, or up 218.3. On this 4-hour candle, we pulled back. Some could say that's an inverted hammer, but we'll see how this pans out. There's still, let's see how long left in this candle. 6 minutes left. I mean, we'll see. That could close bearish. Looks like it might be starting a reversal, but we still have that golden cross in the 2-hourly. If this breaks out, we'll target 225, then ultimately try to push past that 229. And then if that were to play properly, we could play up to that 265 or possibly even higher range. But we're going to have some upward volatility here and not break down this golden cross. If you look at it in a slightly different perspective on a different chart, we can see how if we were to break down where we could go, but if we were to break out right now, you start those mid-tier resistance that I just talked about. But we need to avoid having a scenario where we kind of come down like an inversion and create what looks like an inverse right shoulder. We did measure the distance on one of these. It was about a 12% right here. So it was something like this. We had about a 21% range that this could go between. And it's been bouncing in between it. We talked about it yesterday because the bottom of this range, that would be the appropriate setup if it fell back within and it wanted to do an inverse right shoulder. And then if it wanted to stay above, how we could get the volatility without breaking back below. So I tried to draw it out appropriately yesterday during the live for anybody who wasn't there last night. We had a couple hundred people in there, which was freaking phenomenal. We did an hour and it was nice. It was real nice actually. And that's what I do in hours. So I didn't end it short. Some people said I ended it short in the comments, which I don't know why. But that's how long I do my live, for an hour, sometimes 45 minutes. But typically I try to do that hour. But right here is the best way to look at this for XRP. If we have an inverse head and shoulders setting up and we need to come back down, we'll fall within that range. If we can bounce parabolically out of the top, we'll maintain where we're at and we'll hold over that resistance level. And I really thought this was a fundamental good way for us to understand what's going on and the downside potential. So if you look at that 21% range, right now from where we're at, if we were to fall, you could have the downward potential of about 14 to 50, about 15%. The bottom line is we could come down to roughly that $1.83 mark, $1.80, and stay within a inverse head and shoulders. That would also push us out, if it did exactly that, the day after Easter. So could we have an Easter pump here? It's more than possible. But we would have to see that volatility to the downside first. Otherwise, we could get a pump now, earlier in the week. But as we know, on the thinly traded weekends, it tends to be against us. We've had 17 weekends in a row where Sunday ended up, where we ended up red overall on the weekend. So would weekend number 18 be that weekend that we could reverse it, being Easter? You never know what the gods have in store for us. But with that being said, good morning. 7:56 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, April 15th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I want to keep the focus on XRP because I really do like the way we set this up yesterday. In perspective for even the not so much veteran traders, but the ones who are trying to figure this out appropriately, I really do think that's the proper way to look at this, because whether we break down or break out from here, this is a very good instructional on what needs to happen, what needs to be maintained, and what needs to hold no matter what in order to keep this for a parabolic move. Otherwise, we'll have a nice consolidation. And you'll know if the 2-hour golden cross is given way, if this resistance support line now doesn't hold around 204, 205. Then you'll know that that golden cross was invalidated, and then it just means we've fallen back into consolidation of an inverted right arm. Otherwise, If we bounce up right here, we should be heading towards that 233 area. Now we have resistance at 225 and 229. To get to 233 would be a good sign, because then you'd likely back test at 229 and or 225 and then able to power out. But a lot to be determined here still this morning. Bitcoin's up 1.17% or $981. It's bounced off perfectly off of the consolidation here from the breakout. First target would be 93,000 or 88,659 and then 93,741. However, Bitcoin does have a little bit of a reversal here in the 2-hour time frame, which looks a little bearish. 4-hourly still looks fine. We have a golden cross in the 4-hourly. We've back tested it a couple times. We just need to make sure the shorter time frames don't turn around here. We still have a death cross where really all we've done is come up to the 200. We're still above it, but if Bitcoin falls below 85, then you know something's starting to go wrong. And right now we've got about $563 of room. So not much, but there is still the opportunity here for a much, much larger gain. But that larger gain could come after a consolidation here. Looking at the bond, the DXY, the gold, silver markets, mining stocks, and pre-market, as I like to look at to try to get a general narrative, the US dollar still maintains under that 100 level. And if you're part of the live yesterday, we talked about how when Bitcoin, when the dollar is at 99.80, that means your $100 bill is technically only worth $99.80 when you walk into the store. That's on top of the inflation, which it's already been devalued. At least when it was at 104, it brought down the inflationary pressure because it was worth $104 instead of $100, technically, when you walked into a store with that $100 bill. That's the best way to look at it. So it's just like a stable coin. You want it paired at 100. You don't want it so far up or so far down. And now the problem is the US dollar very much could be heading down. If it breaks that 99, the technical drop is 95.36. And then if that breaks and we have the technical target drop out and not just like the bearish drop we had short term, the technical drop is all the way to 77.87, which means for every $100 you have in a grocery store, it's really worth $77.87 on top of the inflationary pressure, which probably brings it down even more. But just on face value, I mean, we're heading into a horrendous situation that we've been talking about for years. US 10-year is down about 1 basis point, nothing major, to 4.38. Gold silver ratio is at 99.745, which is a crazy high. Silver maintains the best bet on the board. Gold's up $9.75 an ounce to $3,219 an ounce. Barrett Gold, after losing just under 1% yesterday, is up about 7 cents in pre-market, or 1/3 of 1% to $20.48. B2 Gold gained 5.25% yesterday, but it's down about 0.6% in pre-market to $3.39. Silver's down 1/4 of 1%, or almost 9 cents per ounce, to $32.26. Pan America Silver was up 5.02% yesterday, up 0.81% in pre-market, or 22 cents to $27.40. First Majestic left us on the devil's horns, up 5.72% yesterday and 1.15% last night to $6.66 in the pre-market right now. Fortuna Silver Mines is flat in pre-market, but was up almost 1% yesterday to $6.54. Total crypto market cap is up 0.91% to $2.659 trillion. That is all cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin and Ethereum. As long as it stays over this descending breakout pattern, we're bullish. If it breaks back below it, we have a technical drop to 1.95 trillion. Got to get over the 200-day here in the daily to reverse our fortune at 2.8 trillion, but being over 2.6 is a good sign. Not a lot of wiggle room here, though, obviously. Total threes up 0.48%, or 3.299 billion. About half the gain that the total crypto market has gained, which means the Bitcoin dominance has likely gone up. And the total crypto market cap is at 764.1 billion, or up 0.36% on the day. Similar structure. If we stay on the breakout side, we can make some parabolic push. If we fall below, we could drop all the way to 520 billion. It's possible. And we need to maintain, because we do have a death cross here on the daily. So all of this is optics right now until we get some kind of push out past the 200. Otherwise, this could be just a fake out to the top side before a dump before Easter, as we've been talking about, if that does in fact play out. And right now, if we go under 756 billion, the total three, which is all cryptocurrencies minus Bitcoin and Ethereum, would be in a lot of trouble. So with that being said, I'm going to release this update. I just wanted to go around the market a little bit. Video description below and our pinned comments, you're going to see this very link for BITUNIX. They have the lowest spot and leverage trading fees in the world. They have no KYC or VPN worldwide, including the USA, and you can buy XRP. They have lowest spot fees that I have found. Take advantage of it. I send from other exchanges just so I don't have to pay the extraordinary fees. And as long as I can withdraw it off of BITUNIX, I buy it there, send it to where I want and store it. And the fees are astronomically lower. I can swing trade for 5% trade. And because it's only costing me a couple dollars, I can actually do this and make money. Unlike some exchanges where you have to make 10 or 15% just to feel like you're breaking even. I can tell you for a fact that's how Uphold is. Crypto.com is very similar. I have them for DGB. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't even have Crypto.com and the Visa debit card, which I really like. But BITUNIX is the way to go. It's for a new trader to have a resource where you don't have those high fees. It'll be like a punch in the face the first time you see it. You're like, what the hell is going on? I know I was in that position in 21 when I didn't understand as much, but in 25, I definitely know the good and bad actors. Bitcoin dominance is coming up to another area here, which is amazing that it keeps driving up here. But if it breaks out of this, unfortunately, we're going to come up to that 72% that I feared a long time ago. I drew it out there because that was a technical bump up. If it was bearish, even it could do that. But we need this to play out as a bearish pennant. Otherwise, if this breaks out, it's going to be a catastrophe. If it breaks that second line I drew for alt tokens. Have a blessed day, everybody, and I'll see you later.